Ravi Kumar,
Yes, sir.
Ravi Kumar,
Yes.
the speaker is joining in a couple of minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, till wait till then. Huh?
Sure. Okay, sir. Okay.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. Good evening.
I'm so sorry.
No
I
worries.
think this
No
is
worries.
also
No worries,
okay.
ma'am. Can we start the session?
Okay,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. Ravi Kumar, you may proceed.
Okay, sir. Okay. Good evening, one and all present here. Welcome to day two, the next session. And today we'll again have a wonderful session. We have wonderful guests. As usual, I'd like to start this session with a beautiful quote. Cultivators are the most valuable citizens, and they are tied to their country. This was said by Thomas Jefferson. And today, this session is nothing less of all the wonders that is associated with the farming and agriculture. And I request Professor Lalita Ramaswamy, former head of Department of Nutrition and Dietetics from PSG Arts and Science College. She is currently the advisor for IQAC Kogonadu Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. I request her to felicitate the evening.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Namaste.
Good evening, ma'am.
It's really a great pleasure, and I'm very happy to felicitate this meeting, which is based on several aspects of the foods and organic cultivation. Now, this particular word, the jargon, organic, is now being spoken about by everyone in the globe. We have so far all these years, right from the time we grew up till the time we are living now, we have probably been cultivating and consuming only those foods which have been produced with the help of some kind of a chemical mix or any other thing which has deviated a lot from nature. And because of several health issues, now we are all trying to go back to our historic times where every food was cultivated and manufactured in the most natural way. And we find it very difficult now because all along we have been now used to only this kind of a cultivation. So, but then the awareness on organic foods has increased a lot these days, and especially in India, in our city of Coimbatore, there are several shops which sell organic foods. But the main issue is that the general population is not aware of the benefits of consumption of organic foods. See, we know that when we are close to nature, we can avoid several diseases. But another most important unfortunate thing is that the cost of organic food is very high compared to the other foods. So we have to devise some method where the cultivation of organic food and the production of organic food is increased so that the cost of such foods is automatically reduces and the common man is able to buy those foods and be benefited. See, in all the department stores in our city, there is a very small section where they've labeled it as organic foods, and not all foods are also available. So even if we want to buy organic foods, even if we are able to afford to buy that organic food, still there is a lot of lacunae there because of the unavailability of such foods. So it's important that henceforth the cultivation itself, all the foods that are cultivated in the world, in our country, is only organic food. In fact, from I live very close. The city of Coimbatore is very close to Nilgiris, and it is a hilly district where almost all the foods which are grown in the Nilgiris is now becoming organic. So slowly, if every population is able to change from the conventional to the organic food, then automatically what is available in the market also will be only such organic foods. And organic foods, let me tell you, are no less than the other conventional foods. In fact, they are not only healthier, you can say that they are much, much safer. Now, the main thing that we have to see is the food safety part. So this food is extremely safe because there is no chemical additive right from the time the food is grown. And now even the seeds which are used for cultivation, they also must be produced in an organic manner so that right from the start of that cultivation, we are able to get a safe food for consumption. Now, if this is ensured, if the government also takes measures to encourage such kind of cultivation, then I am very sure that we will all, in the next decade, all of us will be able to consume only such organic foods. So with these few words, I congratulate the team for having organized such a nice seminar on this topic, which is much required for the population, the whole world's population. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, madam. Now, I request Dr. S. Bhargavi, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Kongonado Arts and Science College, to introduce our guest.
It's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Teti Estiasih, our plenary speaker for the Revisiting Indian Traditional Agriculture, a Contemplation on Organic Farming and Traditional Food. Dr. Teti graduated from Gajah Mada University from Indonesia with Masters Food Science and Technology. She received her PhD in Agricultural Technology from the Gajah Mada University in 2003. She served in Universitas Brawijaya as Secretary of Agricultural Product of Technological Development, and now she is the Dean of Agricultural Technology at Universitas Brawijaya. She has guided over 22 research projects and has published more than 47 national and international journals and has also published around 5 books. She has also published 12 patents in the field of agricultural technology. She has been an active research speaker and also a trainer for community services. We are honored this evening by your presence and eagerly waiting to hear your speech on tumor-based Indonesian traditional food. Now I request you to take over the session, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening for you all. Thank you very much, Prof. Madan, who has invited me to join his interesting colloquium. First, I want to have the permission. I would like to share the screen. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay, can you see my screen here?
Yes, madam. It's visible.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you for inviting me to join with you all here. It is nice to meet you, although by virtual meeting like this. Okay, in this occasion, I would like to discuss about the tuber-based traditional and functional food, especially in my country, in Indonesia. So This is, I think, the second time I joined in India meeting. In last year, I was invited to the Avinasylingam University. Okay, and today, what I would like to discuss to you all, the first, I would like to introduce in a brief my university, Universitas Brawijaya, and the second, we will discuss about the type of the underutilized tubers. This is the tuber that neglected in consumption and or utilization. So it is interesting to explore because have the a special characteristic nutrition, and also it is also contains some toxicant compounds, and we will discuss so far what is the utilization. And the last, this is very important because some tuber also contain bioactive compounds. I would like to discuss the presence or the occurrence of the bioactive compounds in the some tubers. And the last, we will discuss about the tuber-based traditional, mainly in my country, in India, in Indonesia, and the utilization of the tuber as the functional food. This is my university. Sometime I invite you to come to my university, Universitas Brawijaya. This is one of the state university in Indonesia. This is my country. Indonesia consists of the several, maybe more than 10 million of islands. Okay, so I live here in the island in the middle here.
Ma'am, Teti, ma'am, your slides are not moving.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will stop the presentation.
Oh, yeah. Now it's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Now
sorry. Okay,
yeah.
I will stop my presentation and back to the join. I'm sorry for this inconvenience. Okay, maybe this one. Kill entire skill. This one. Okay, I cannot this one. Okay. This one. Okay. Does it move? Not yet.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Is it move? Okay.
Yeah, it's moving. It's moving. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No
for
worries. Thank you,
yes,
ma'am.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I will repeat again what I would like to discuss. This is about the outline of today's discussion. Okay, this is the first. I would like to introduce you about a little bit about my. I'm sorry. My university, Universitas Brawijaya, and then we will talk about the characteristic of underutilized tubers. This is means minor tubers, the tubers that neglected use so far for consumption or underutilization, and the bioactive compounds that usually found in the tubers. And the last is about the tuber-based traditional foods, and also how we develop functional food based on the tubers. So this is our university, Universitas Brawijaya. Sometime I will invite you to come here, especially Prof. Madan Sankar. Maybe you haven't come to Indonesia already yet?
Ma'am, not yet. So I'll be happy to come anytime.
Okay, please welcome Prof. Madan and others also. This is my university located in one island here. In the name of the island is Java Islands, because my country is the archipelago that consists of more than 10 million of islands. Okay, I live here in the Java Islands, especially in East Java. So I live in the Malang city. This is my city is surrounded by
Excuse
five
me, madam.
volcanoes. I'm sorry, it is not moved.
Madam, yes, ma'am. It's
Sorry.
not moving, ma'am.
Does it move also?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. Stop starting. I'm sorry because I'm not accustomed to use.
No issues, ma'am.
I'm
No
sorry.
issues.
I will try to start again. Okay, maybe this one. Okay, sorry. Can it be seen?
Slides are visible, ma'am. Slides are visible, ma'am.
Does it move?
Yes, yes, it's moving. Yes.
Okay, is it moving? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry again. Okay, I would like to talk about a little bit about my university, Universitas Brawijaya. Okay, this is in the East Java. The East Java is one of the part of the Java Island here. Okay, so my city, the name is the Marang city, is surrounded by 5 volcanoes. It is not only mountain but also volcanoes. So we have the cool temperate, and this is one of the tourist destination in my country. So this is in the weekend like this, so many people comes to my city, although this is in the era of the pandemic. Okay, so we have the very beautiful mountain here. Some of your partner from Afina Silicam has come to this mountain. The name is the Bromo mountain, so we can come here and also see the sunrise in the morning. Okay, so to come to our university, we annually hold the short course or summer course. This is for students, but also the faculty member is welcome to join in our annual short course. Let's move to the main topic today. Okay. We will talk about the tubers, about the types and characteristics. So tuber, as we know, this is the source of the carbohydrates because the quantity of the carbohydrate is high. So in many parts in the world, okay, maybe in Africa, also in some region in my countries, tuber is used as the staple food because high in the carbohydrates. So it produces a sufficient calorie for our activity. But the lack of the tuber, this is low in the protein and also low in the fat. So if we use tuber as the staple food, we must complete our dishes with the side dishes that a source of the protein and also as the source of the fiber from vegetable or the fruit. So some tuber contains a considerable amount of the mineral, especially calcium. However, this calcium usually binds to other compounds such as phytate here and also oxalate. This is the problem because if the mineral bonds to the phytate and oxalate, it is not easily to absorb in our intestine. So this is the problem that the availability of the mineral is quite low in the tuber. This is the characteristic or the tuber composition in comparison to the rice because rice is our staple food. So we compare the calorie of the tuber here is lower than rice. Why it is lower? Because high in the moisture content. So due to the high moisture content, the shelf life of the tuber is very short. It is our challenge because it is easily to deteriorate. So we must convert the tuber into the more or longer shelf life, such as convert to the tuber flour or tuber starch. Okay. Other characteristic of the tubers, because it contain a high carbohydrate, it is also contain a significant amount of the mucilage. Mucilage, actually, this is the water-soluble polysaccharide. From the view of the processing, it is not desirable because make a difficulty during processing, such as it is not easy to remove, and also sometimes it contains calciumoxalate that make itching in our hands. But from the view of the health, okay, this is the one of the bioactive compounds that found in the tuber. So this is a contradictory. In one side, it is not desirable because make the processing is not easy, but the other side, it is very useful for our health. And also, some tuber contains bioactive compounds. It is important to note that not all tuber contain bioactive compounds, but only some family of the tubers. Okay, but this the occurrence of the bioactive compound is limitedly explored, and on the research about this also, it is not too much about the bioactive compounds from the tuber. The disadvantage of the tubers, it is the occurrence of the toxicant. One is the famous toxicant in the tuber is the cyanide. Okay, cyanide, it is very dangerous because it is leading to the death. Okay, because of the lack of the oxygen. So the people lack of the oxygen cannot breathe like that. And also some tuber contains the antinutrition. Antinutrition is the compound that inhibit the absorption of the nutrient in our digestive tracts. So this is the disadvantage of the tuber, the occurrence of the toxicants and the occurrence of the antinutrition. The other advantage besides contains bioactive compounds, tuber have low glycemic index, low GI, so it is very important in the management of the blood glucose level, especially for diabetic patient. This is the toxicant, one of the toxicant of the tuber that usually found mainly in the cassava, but not all cassava contain this toxicant. This is usually found in the bitter cassava because this compound make the bitter taste. The name of the cyanogenic compounds consists of the three types of the compounds. The first, this is the cyanogenic glycoside. Okay, this is contain cyanide here and also bind to the sugar. Okay. If the sugar is released, it is need an enzyme. The enzyme is beta glucosidase. Okay, so it will convert to the cyanohydrin. Cyanohydrin. It also contains cyanide group here. Okay, and cyanohydrin can be easily. This is spontaneously, mainly if there is the heat. It will be degrade into the ketone and hydrogen cyanide or cyanide acid here. And in the term of the cyanide acid, it is easily removed by drying or by heating. But the main problem is this one, the cyanogenic glycoside. This is cyanogenic glycoside is not easily to remove because it is not easily to evaporate, high molecular weight, and also contains some sugar. How to release the sugar is only by this enzyme. Although this enzyme also found in some tubers. Okay, so this is our problem. We must convert the cyanogenic glycoside into this one, hydrogen cyanide, to make it easily removed. So traditionally in my country, there is the traditional or local wisdom how to remove the cyanogenic compounds, but consecutive several steps in the processing. The step of the processing is very complicated. Okay, and this is the other toxicant found in the tuber. Mainly, this is the taro, or maybe in India, the name is dashin, I think. This is the taro, contain calcium oxalate. This is the structure of the oxalate ion because this is the divalent ion. It can bind to the calcium. So in the type of the calcium oxalate, it is not easy to remove because it is not soluble in the water. And make a crystal, and the crystal usually in the type of like needle, so needed like type crystal. The name is replied here. Okay, the problem that calcium oxalate make the itching and also make the throat irritated, and in the long-term consumption, it will be sediment in our kidney to make the kidney stone. So if we use some tuber that contain calcium oxalate such as taro and also amorphopalus, or in Japan the name is the konjac, it is also contain high amount of the calcium oxalates. We must remove this well, and this is the problem because it is not easily to separate. Okay. So about the antinutrition, beside Toxicant, antinutrition found in some tubers, not all of the tuber contain antinutrition, but usually this is found, the first is the antitrypsin. This is can inhibit the activity of the trypsin in our digestive tract. So the trypsin cannot hydrolyze the protein that we consume, so it reduces the bioavailability of the protein. So this is the problem, but it is easy to destroy the antitrypsin by heating, or also this is soluble in the water. So the others, this is saponin. Okay, saponin, it is also similar to the trypsin. It can bind to the protein. So if the protein bind to the saponin, it is not easily digested. So it reduces the bioavailability of the protein. And other antinutrition is the polyphenols. Maybe it is not only because of the antinutrition, but also in the appearance of the tuber flesh. If the polyphenol contact with the oxygen in the presence of the enzyme polyphenolase, so the polyphenols can be oxidized and make the brown color. So it is make the browning. The name is the enzymatic browning. So this is the problem in the tuber preparation or tuber processing. We must make that the polyphenols not become to oxidize. This is the main issue in the preparation of the tuber flour. And the next is the phytate, what I have discussed previously. This is can bind to the some minerals such as iron and also calcium. But during sprouting, this phytate is degraded. This is because the plant needs the phytate as the source of the phosphorus here. So if the phytate bind to the minerals is no longer available for our body. It is not easy to absorb in our intestinal tract. And also the phytate can bind to the protein, so the bioavailability of the protein reduce. Okay, this is one. This describe about the glycemic index. I think you know well about this. Okay, we compare that in the red one in the above here. This is the high GI, high glycemic index. It means that after consumption of the some food, the blood glucose level increase sharply compared to the low GI. This one, the yellow one. After consumption, the blood glucose level can be maintained to be always low. So we need the low GI food to prevent the high increase, the sharp increase in the blood glucose level. Compared to the other sources of the carbohydrate, the advantage of the tuber, this is a little, what is it, abbreviation, a little explanation about the GI of the some tuber, this one, okay. Compared to other foods such as, for example, plain white bread, okay, this is usually as the standard because a plain white bread has the GI of 100. So the GI, it is usually expressed as the number from 0 to 100, and the highest is the 100. It is on to the plain white bread. Compared to the bread, for example, some tuber has a very low GI. For example, here, the noodle from the potato, the low GI is only 13. And also from arrowroot, for example, arrowroot is the type of the tuber, the low GI is only 14. Okay, so this is the definition of the bioactive compounds. Okay, bioactive compound is non-nutrition. This is nutrition or non-nutritional compounds that have the ability to modulate positive physiological effects. So this is the, I want to emphasize, positive physiological effect on health beyond the basic nutrition a human needs. So it is more than that the compound just for nutrition, such as the source of the protein, as the source of the fat, as the source of the vitamin and the minerals, but beyond that nutrition. So this will affect our physiology in our body positively and make the positive health effect. So the occurrence, it is usually found not only in the plant, I think it is also found in the animal, but in the plant, there are many types of the bioactive compounds. This is very diverse, so the effect on our health also differs. In the tuber, this is not all the tuber contains bioactive compound, but usually the same family of the tuber also contain similar bioactive compounds. For example, in the yam family or Dioscorea, this is Dioscorea, Dioscorea or yam family, it contains bioactive compound of dioscorine and diosgenin. This one, we will move to the tuber types. Okay, in the above picture here, okay, we have three representatives of the tuber that usually widely consumes. This is potato, cassava, and also sweet potato. But in the below picture here, we have the tuber that limitedly explored, such as this one, taro. And in the middle here, this is one type of the yam family. The name is the lesser yam. And the right one here, this is the cokoyam. Okay, so this is the family of the taro, Xanthomonas. Okay, and about the potato, this is widely used, and also it is has been commercially explored as the food ingredients because potato is processed into the starch or the potato flour as the intermediate product in the food processing. And cassava, this is very interesting because in the some part of in the world, such as in Africa, there are many cassava products they use as the staple food. And also in my country, some region in the past, because now the consumption pattern is shifting to the rice. Actually, our ancients use cassava is the staple food. Okay, so it is usually traditionally processed. The three pictures here. This is lafun, fufu, and gari is the traditional cassava products from Africa, mainly from Nigeria. And this one, the black one, okay, this is our traditional fermented cassava. The name is gato. The color is black because during fermentation, some mold, maybe Aspergillus niger, grows. So the color turns to the black. And other cassava products in my country, this is traditionally this is not fermented cassava, but usually used as the snack. Okay, the fermented cassava here, it is in the past used as the staple food, and it is consumed with other side dishes. Okay, and this is the snacking, I think. Okay, the name is Indonesian name. This is, for example, this is similar to the chips. The name is rengginang. This is from the grated cassava, and then steamed and dried and served after frying. So this is expand well, and the texture is crunchy and crispy. And the second, this is also the snack from the cassava flour. And this is the cassava that has been granulated and then steamed. So the name is tiwul. It is in the past used as the staple food, but it is no longer consumed as staple food, but just only for snack. In the below here, this is also the cassava snack. This is similar to the chips, okay? And also, this is the chips. It is the very simple processing in the middle, below middle here, okay? This is only by slicing the cassava, the fresh cassava, and then fried, okay? And this is the snack also. This is the wet snack, okay, from the steamed cassava, and the steamed cassava is grown and shaped like this. Okay. This is the cassava chip. It's very easy. By the fresh cassava here, it is sliced by using the very simple machine, and then fried, okay, to have the texture like this. Now this cassava is available in the market. It is packaged in the modern packaging like this, okay. And other cassava chips, we have the many type of the cassava chips. This is made from the grated cassava. The cassava is grated and then shaped manually into the slice like this, steamed. After that, sun dried, okay, drying in the sun, okay. After that, before consumption, it is fried. So we have the chip like this. And other chips, so we have the many type of the cassava chips. It is made from the cassava flour. The previously this one, it is made from the grated cassava. So this is made from the flour. So we have the flour, cassava flour. It is made into a dough. Okay, after that, it is manually mold like that by using hand like this. Okay, we put in the, what is this, the place. The place is made from the bamboo. Okay, traditional place like this, place traditional dish like this. Okay, so after that, it is dried, and we serve this cassava chips after frying. Okay. And this is also from the cassava flour, but this is modern. It is there is the modern touch in preparation. So we usually put some spices in this chips. Okay, for example, putting the chili here to have the hot cassava chips. Okay. And this is the tiwul. The tiwul, this is the staple food in the past. Our ancient used this as the staple food, but it is used it is consumed with other dishes like this, okay, with the vegetable, and also we have the fermented soybean, traditional fermented soybean. The name is the tempe, okay. So it is usually consumed as the staple food, but now it is just for snack. This is usually consumed after steaming with the grated coconut. So in the market, in our country, it is available in the instant form. This one, instant form. So we are more easy to serve because by in instant form like this, the serving just only by soaking and then steaming for a minute like that. And this one, it is similar to the cassava chips. The name is the cassava rengginang. So this is produced from the cassava flour and then granulated to make the tiny granule, and this granule is set together by molding. This is manually molding like this, and then steam. After steaming, it is sun dried and then frying. So there is the starch gelatinization during this processing, make that this product expand well after frying. Okay. And this one, fermented cassava products that are very famous in our country. The name is tapai. We ferment this cassava, steamed cassava by traditional culture. This is the consortium of the microbes. Consists of the bacteria also, yeast and mold. So during fermentation, the starch from the cassava convert into the glucose, and the taste is the pleasant sweet taste like that. In the middle here, I have a little bit explained. This is the gato. The name is gato. This is also the fermented cassava products. But this is simple. The process is simple. The cassava is put outside the home, so it is spontaneously. Some microbes grows in this cassava to have the product that's chewy in the texture. Okay. Some of the mold has been identified also. And this is one, it is similar to the gatot. The name is the kabuto. Gatot usually found in my islands, in Java Islands, but kabuto, it is in another islands. But the process is similar, although it is the different region. Okay, the color also similar, black in color. Okay. We have also the cassava chips that has been fermented. Okay, so this is simple. The sliced cassava is soaking in the water, but to promote the spontaneous microbes to grow, it is usually added by a little amount of rice flour. So this rice flour will induce the growth of the lactic acid bacteria because of some microbes grows during this soaking. There is some modification of the starch, I think. So the texture of the chip is different to the chips from the fresh cassava. Okay. This is usually traditionally made but our people here, because the appearance, it is similar to the other tuber chips. The name of the tuber is the white yam. So the name is similar to the name is the keripik gaddung. Gaddung means white yam. White yam is a type of the tuber. Okay. So this is gatot, what I have explained before. The preparation is dried by drying cassava. It is about days, 5 until 7 days. So this will make some microbes. This is the microbe that has been identified. This one, Saccharomyces. This one, Saccharomyces. I think this is the yeast, and also the lactic acid bacteria, Lactobacillus plantarum. And Pseudomonas pentosaccheus, just like this. So also the color shifted into it turns into the black color, and the texture become chewy. Okay, and usually this product served with the grated coconut. This one, the white one here, is the grated coconut. And to make we easily serve this product in the market, there is the name is instant gatot. This is produced by steaming this product and then dried. So this is the pre-gelatinized starch actually. So we can more faster to serve this product. Okay. And this is from also in my island, but in the middle of our island, in the middle Java. Okay. The name is growol. This is by soaking the cassava for days. It is usually about 3 until 4 days. So the cassava become, the texture becomes softened. And then this is similar to the flour and steam. So some microbe has been found to grow in this product. The name is the growol. Okay, this is spontaneous fermentation, and some of the bacteria in the growol is lactic acid bacteria. Some of our colleagues has identified that this lactic acid bacteria have the ability as the probiotics. So we have the probiotic from these fermented products. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, this is tape, what I have been mentioned previously. We make the fermented cassava from the steamed cassava. So the cassava is steamed, and then after cooling, it is added by this one. This one is the starter. This culture, traditional starter, this is the consortium of the microbes, this one. So we fermented this product 4 days, usually take about 3 until 4 days in the anaerobic facultative condition, because we must, cover this cassava to make no much oxygen in this process. So during fermentation, some microbes, including mold, there is a rhizopus, so the appearance in the surface is whitish because of the existence of the rhizopus. And also there is the Saccharomyces. This is the yeast. They will convert the glucose into the ethanol. So it is over fermented. The taste is alcoholic because some ethanol is produced, and more longer fermentation it will produce the acetic acid. Okay. We in some part of our country there is the cassava, a staple food. The name is nasi aruk. So we make that this cassava is similar to rice in appearance. So it is usually consumed in the past, but nowadays because we shift our consumption pattern into the rice as the staple food, so this product is no longer consumed. Okay, and this is the potato. I think we know well about this. We have also no more traditional food from the sweet potato as much as the cassava. Okay, this is the example of our potato product. But some product of the potato, it is combined with the modern food. For example, we combine the sweet potato with the wheat flour to produce noodle. So this is the sweet potato noodle. And the left one here, this is, we put the sweet potato, steamed sweet potato with the wheat flour to make a donut like that. And the others here, the three others here in the middle here, this is the snack from the grated sweet potato, and then shaped, okay, like this, and fried. And the other, this is the other product of the sweet potato. Okay, it is our challenge that some tuber is the minor tubers, underutilized because it is neglected to cultivate. Also, in a little, only a little amount consumed. Okay, some of this in our country, maybe this is our problem because the quantity of the tuber consumption in my country is quite low. So our government encourage us to consume more tuber. So we must look for the advantage of the tuber to make the people aware that consumption the tuber is very important. Also have the beneficial effect on health. This is what we have the duty to explore more the bioactive compounds in the tuber. So some of the tuber that underutilized in my country, I don't hope so in India. Okay, for example, this one, aroid. Okay, aroids such as dasin or taro, yams, and also amorphopalus. It is not the source of the starch or of amorphopalus, but this is the source of the food ingredients. The name is the glucomannan. Okay, it is the very useful ingredient in some food products. Okay, this is the example of the cultivation, limitedly cultivated. For example, this is the cultivation of the arrowroot. This is one. Arrowroot is the type of the tubers. This is very important because arrowroot very low GI. The GI is only 14. So this is very suitable for the diabetic patient. And also the flour, the texture of the flour is very smooth, and it is very suitable for the infant food. And the left one here, this is the cultivation of the amorphopalus in Japan. The well-known amorphopalus from Japan is konjac. So we have the similar amorphopalus with konjac. The name is Amorphopalus mulleri. It is usually cultivated under the tree in the forest, usually thick forest. Okay, so it is grow well under the tree here. Okay, so other underutilized tuber. This is the Dioscorea family or yams. Okay, we have this one, wild yam, wild yam. The problem of the wild yam, it contains high amount of the cyanide compounds, but traditionally we have the local wisdom to remove these cyanogenic compounds from the wild yam. Okay, it is usually in the rural area, the people use wild yam for the making the chips. And the left one here, this is the lesser yam. Okay, it is also no longer exists. It is endangered also and no more consumed in our country. But this is have many bioactive compounds that very useful for our health. And in below here, this is the glitter yam. This is the family of Dioscorea also, glitter yam, Dioscorea alata. And the right one here, this is the bulbil. The bulbil is it is similar to the fruit from the Dioscorea family. It is usually called what is it? Aerial bulbil. Okay, so this bulbil contains some bioactive compound, mainly diosgenin, and this is the candidate for the steroidal drugs. Okay, aroid. This is one of the tuber that also underutilized in my country. This is the other species of the aroid, such as taro, okay, and also cokoyam. Okay, the main problem in the aroid utilization, it contains a significant amount of the calcium oxalate. So if we process this tuber, we must remove well this calcium oxalate because it make itching during eating. Okay. And this one, Amorphophallus, what I have mentioned previously, Amorphophallus konjac is from Japan, but in my country there is another type of the Amorphophallus, other species, Amorphophallus muelleri. This one like this. We produce this Amorphophallus also under the tree in the forest. And it is used as the source of the glucomannan. Glucomannan is a type of the water-soluble polysaccharide that's very important in the food industry, as the food ingredient, as thickeners. Also, it has the ability to reduce blood cholesterol level and also glucose cholesterol level in the condition of the hyperglycemia. And other tuber, this one, what I have mentioned previously, this is arrowroots, a very smooth texture. So it is, I think it is suitable to make the cookies or biscuit from this tuber. And the others, this one, canna. Canna is the ornamental flower. The flower is very beautiful and have the tuber. But the problem, the canna had high content of the polyphenol. So the flower is, the appearance is brown, so it is undesirable. Others that has the pigment, this is very important. Some tuber contains a significant amount of the pigment, such as sweet potato. There is the yellow potato or orange potato. It contains carotenoid, and the main carotenoid is the beta carotene. We know that the beta carotene is the precursor of the vitamin A for our body. So it is also the purple one. It is similar in also in Dashin here or taro, and also in Dioscorea family here. This is the name is Dioscorea alata or glitter yam. There is the purple one. The purple pigment comes from anthocyanin. Anthocyanin, we know that this is the useful antioxidant and has some beneficial on our health, such as prevent cancer. Okay. And it is very important to process the tuber into the flour and starch. Why? Because tuber is high in the moisture content, so it is easily to deteriorate. So we will, if we produce into the flour or starch, so the shelf life is longer. And a tuber and flour is the intermediate products, then can be further processed into the some foods. Okay, it is very important. Mainly in our country, the wheat tree cannot grow because it is the subtropical tree, and we are in the tropical island. So we have the problem where annually we import the wheat flour in a very high quantity. So this is very important to substitute some of the wheat flour with the tuber flour. For example, in the making of the noodles, okay, like that. Some of the bioactive compound in the tubers, the bioactive compounds mean that the compound has the positive physiological effect on health. Okay, bioactive compounds. Some bioactive compounds found in the tuber, this is the saponins. Okay, saponin. Depend on the name of the tuber. For example, the saponin in the Dioscorea family. The name is diocene. So diocene contains some sugar. If the sugar is released, so saponin convert into sapogenin, and the sapogenin in the Dioscorea family, the name is called diosgenin. Diosgenin is the precursor of the steroidal drugs. Also, it can prevent from the women, especially in the elderly, can prevent postmenopausal syndrome like that. Okay, because of the reduce in the hormone estrogen in the body. So diosgenin also have the ability to inhibit the absorption of the cholesterol in our digestive tracts. Okay, and this one, it is also found in the Dioscorea family. This is a low molecular weight of the protein. The name is the dioscorin. Dioscorin has the low molecular weight, about 23 kilodalton. Okay, so it is very little, and we can intake absorb this protein. In our body, this protein can inhibit the activity of one enzyme. The enzyme is the angiotensin converting enzyme. This enzyme, or S, this enzyme S enzyme is very important to increase the blood pressure. So if we consume dioscorin, the activity of S will be inhibited, so the blood pressure can be maintained still low, especially in the hypertension. Okay, and the other bioactive compound, this one, polysaccharides. This different type of the tuber have different type of the polysaccharide. For example, in the taro, the polysaccharide comprises of the galactose and mannan. So it is galactomannan. But in the amorphopalus, for example, this is comprised of the glucose and mannose. So this is the glucomannan type of the polysaccharide. Okay, and usually phenol found in many type of the tubers. This is two side, I think, about the phenols. In one side, it is undesirable because make the browning color of the tuber, but in another, this is also can act as the antioxidant. Okay. So other bioactive compounds in the tuber, for example, this is can act as the prebiotic. We know that the prebiotic is very important for the growth of the probiotic in our colon. Okay, this is the example. The prebiotic has been isolated from the tuber, inulin. Okay, I think we know that the inulin is widely added into the infant formula, for example. And also my colleague, I think, has been isolated the prebiotic from the Dioscorea and other pigment, what I have discussed previously. Okay, this is the structure of the Dioscorin. Okay, a little molecular weight, the low molecular weight of the protein, very little the protein, and we can absorb impact in our digestive tract. And this is the saponin. In Dioscorea, the name is the diocene. I'm sorry, this one, diocene. Diocene has some sugar. If the sugar is released, so it will convert into sapogenin. Sapogenin in the Dioscorea, the name is the diosgenin. And this one, the polysaccharide, depends on the type of the sugar. The name of the polysaccharide is different. Okay, so we can extract the bioactive compounds from the tuber. For example, we can separate the water-soluble non-starch polysaccharide by simply precipitation by using the alcohol. Okay, so the polysaccharide will be coagulated and we can separate from other compounds. Okay, and diosgenin, it is rather hard to extract. It is because this is non-polar, so we can extract the diosgenin by the non-polar solvent. It is similar to the extraction of the fat. And dioscorin usually bind to the polysaccharide here. Okay, if we separate the polysaccharide, so we will separate the dioscorin, and dioscorin can be separated from the polysaccharide by pH adjusted. Okay, so it will be precipitated in the pH of the isoelectric pH. So this is a challenge for us, that how we can integrate to extract the bioactive compound from the tuber, but also use the tuber as the source of the other nutrient, especially as the source of the starch. It is my research in the previous about the use of the crude diosgenin extract. We use the Glitterium Dioscorea alata from two types. This one, the purple one, and the yellow one. This extract is given to the experimental animal that has been make the hypercholesterolemia. So gradually the cholesterol level decrease, but this one HDL cholesterol increase. So this extract can improve lipid profile. Okay, and also other extract. This is dioscorin extract from the Lacerium. Okay, we give into the hypertensive rats. Okay, using the experimental animal after feeding, so the blood pressure gradually decrease like this. Okay, because of dioscorin can inhibit the angiotensin converting enzyme activity. So we also has extracted polysaccharide. Okay, this polysaccharide extract is given into the experimental animal. So it reduce the blood glucose level and inhibit the absorption of the glucose by using the converse intestine of the rats here. This one. Okay. And we also has the research about the how develop the functional food from tuber. So this is the definition of the functional food, the food that has because it contains bioactive compounds. So has benefit on health more than ordinary food we consume, but it must be served as food itself. It is similar in the texture, it is similar in the appearance. So but the advantage, the functional food has the advantage on health. Okay. So how to produce the functional food from the tuber? We have two ways. The first is by using tuber as the main ingredients. So for example, if we make the noodle from the tuber, okay, the wheat flour is substituted by the, for example here, the Glitterium flour, for example. So we will have the bioactive compound from the Glitterium, and the noodle is functional, has the functional on health. On the other ways, we put the bioactive compounds into the formula of the food. So it is by bioactive fortification. But in the second way here, we must extract first the bioactive compounds and then put into the formula. So this is the example or the tuber-based noodle. We use no wheat flour here in producing these noodles. Okay, and the noodle has been evaluated its effectivity on health. It is proof that can prevent hypertension and also lower cholesterol level in our blood, and also lower glucose blood level because it also contain phenolic compounds. This compound possess antioxidant activity in our body and can protect the liver from oxidative stress. Okay, and it also we produce the name is the artificial rice this product we mold similar to the rice here, okay, and we access the benefit on health such as antihypertension. It can lower the blood pressure in the hypertensive rats and also lower cholesterol and blood glucose. Similar to the noodle here, it will also have the antioxidant activity in our body and can protect the liver from oxidative stress also. And this one, this is by the way of the fortification. So we extract the polysaccharide from the lesser yam and wild yam. And this polysaccharide is added into the bread here and biscuit. And bread and biscuit is fed into the experimental animal, and this animal can reduce the blood glucose level after they have hyperglycemia condition. So, and this one, it is similar. I think this is how this product can prevent the increase of the blood glucose level. This experiment calls the MTT, meal tolerant test. We check the blood glucose level after the rats fed by the products, okay, in the minutes like this. So we know that the increase of the blood glucose level is lower than the control. The control without the addition of the polysaccharide extract. And this one, why the products can reduce blood glucose level. One way is the modulating the short chain fatty acid in our colon, because we know that the SCFA, short chain fatty acid, has the contribution in the regulation of the glucose blood level. So as the conclusion, we know that increasing tuber consumption could be conducted by increasing people awareness, mainly in my country in this case, okay, about the occurrence of the bioactive compounds in the tuber. So if the people aware that the tuber has the beneficial effect on health, so I think it will encourage the people to consume more tuber. Okay, so it is our challenge also to always explore the occurrence of the bioactive compounds in the tuber, also to produce the functional food based on the tuber. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you very much for the attention. I'll back to the moderator. This. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed a wonderful speech and a wonderful presentation, highly informative. Now, the session is open for questions.
Okay.
Yes, students, you can post your questions to Teti madam right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, students, you can unmute and then talk.
Ma'am, this is Revati from Bhakti Department, Rural Arts and Science College.
Feedback. There is the feedback.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Revati.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, usually the diabetic patients are not having the tubers, isn't it? Because of the presence of carbohydrate, right, ma'am? So, in your research, it is clear that the compounds are reducing the blood glucose level,
Yes.
and as well as it is also reducing the blood pressure. So, what is your suggestion to continue the diet of the diabetic patients if they may take the carbohydrate, that is the tubers for their diet, or it is not good for them?
Okay, thank you, Rapati. What I catch from your question, Prof. Madan, excuse me, how to manage the diet from the tuber? Is it like that? because the tuber can reduce the blood glucose level. Is it like this, Revati?
Revati, ma'am? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we must, it is usually because tuber has low glycemic index. So after consumption, the blood glucose level is still quite low compared to the other food, especially for the bread like that. Okay, so it is especially suitable for diabetic patient when the blood glucose level is high. So for us, okay, we must control this because we need that our blood in the is it quite I think quite amount of the glucose in our blood, because this glucose will be distributed to our body to produce into the energy. So we need the balance about this. Okay, so it is the low GI food especially is very important for diabetic patient or the people with the obesity. So it will control the blood glucose level, not too high. So if our body needs the energy, the fat from the adipose tissue can be used as the source of the energy. Okay, is it answer the question, Revati?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for the nice question.
Yes. Yes, students, do you have any more questions?
See.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, it was very nice, very informative. To be very frank, I have not heard about so many products from tapioca and tubers of this kind. It is very, very exhaustive and a wonderful presentation, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for you all.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I hope we can meet again in another occasion, Prof. Madan
Sure,
and
of
students
course. Of
also.
course.
So we are welcome you to come to Indonesia.
Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Good evening
Thank you.
all. Bye-bye.
Bye and
Yeah.
good night to you. I think it should be 8:30.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It is night here. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
you're
ma'am.
welcome.
Bye.
Thank you all. See you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have the permission, Prof.
Yes.
Madan, to leave. Okay.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You may
Okay,
leave.
Yes.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, thank you, Professor Teti, madam, from Indonesia. So we're moving on to the second session for the day. And now I invite Dr. H. Abdul Kafur, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Coronado Arts and Science College, to welcome the guest for the second session.
Ravi?
Sorry, I apologize. There seems to be a small technical error.
Audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible now. Yes, it's
Yeah.
audible.
Good evening to one and all gathered here. It's an immense pleasure for me to invite and introduce today's resource person, Dr. P. Kumaravadivelu, sir, Chief Scientist and Head, ICAR KVK, South India. Sir specialized in the field of entomology, plant protection and management, organic, biodynamic and eco-friendly farming. Sir started his research field as a senior research fellow in the Division of Entomology, Upasi Tea Research Institute, Valpari. He continued his project work for PhD in various research divisions. Sir started his career as a faculty in ICAR KVK, Nilgiris. In 1922 to 1999, he served as a scientist in the same institution. From 2008 to till date, sir was working as a chief scientist and head in ICAR, KVK, South India. Sir has been having a vast experience as faculty advisor in management centers, charitable institutions, government agencies, and also in commodity boards. In addition to this, Sir has been sharing his services with no words of boundaries, like Sir was acting as a visiting scientist to many tea gardens and horticulture farms in India and Sri Lanka, and also a visiting faculty in Kothari Agriculture Management Center, Nilgiris, Indian Institute of Plantation Management, Bangalore, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore, and also a honorary member in Pattukoti Coconut Growers Secretary Society, Tamil Nadu. Now he has published 6 papers and 16 articles in reputed journals, and he published 37 books. For time concern, I conclude here. Thank you. Now I hand over the session to you, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kapoor, and Dr. Dhansekhar, the Dean Academics, and of course other faculties, other doctors and professors. All of you, thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this program. Hope so my audio is clear.
Yes,
Audio,
sir.
video, everything is clear. Okay, Professor. Thank you very much. Professor is following up from the morning. It was very good, and so nice of you to remind me to come on time. And it's very interesting, and more or less we are on time. So now we'll move on to the topic. Actually, we were listening so far to Dr. Teti from Indonesia on the traditional food, more particularly the arrowroot, the tuber. Here also it's grown, and the traditional variety, or even we do have in India also the traditional variety. And when it is grown organically, there is nothing like that. Actually, it is actually devoid of any toxic elements and with a high amount of nutritive values. So there is a traditional growing method. There is a traditional processing method too, and that's very good for. And the very interesting thing is that we can have the low glycemic index food. I mean, it's low glycemic index. A student has also very nicely asked. I was listening to that. Very interesting, interacting with his young colleagues. I mean, the students. And it's very interesting that they are interested knowing about the glycemic index. That's very, very good. And I am very glad and happy to be in this forum. And with your permission, I'll just upload and let us go to our topic also. And I'll go to the screen now with the permission of the organizers. So you're able to get my screen?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. So there is a suggestion from the organizers that I will talk something on agriculture, and more particularly the organic agriculture producers. So this is not actually I have to mention this as an organic agriculture producer. What are the challenges in the production, processing and marketing of the organic agriculture producers? So there can be an inclusion in the title. Of course, incidentally, I was just making this title at class as the last presentation. Afternoon only, I was sitting to just edit the some of the documents for you to present in this particular forum, because I was just following the other session also and other sessions which has happened earlier also, I mean yesterday. And based on that, I have consolidated some good that is information to you, I believe. And this is all through the experience which has been gained over the years by me. And this is really a good occasion, and that I can share all my experiences to you. So this is basically the ultimate aim of the organic cultivation. Of course, I don't have to now differentiate the organic cultivation, what is eco-friendly cultivation. So the ultimate need is to have healthy food, healthy family, healthy life, and to build a healthy nation. So that's the needs for the organic cultivation, and what we achieve, what we cannot achieve, what are the constraints. That's what is going to be the discussion today. So organic products in India, what is the percentage of share? I don't have to explain to you. This is all you could have definitely had a very good exposure on this. And fruits and vegetables, yes, it is actually forming a major portion, like rice and tea also. Tea is also grown organically largely in India. So that should be very interesting to you, because that's one of the important export commodity that's being exported. Our tea is also being exported abroad. And of course, the rice is also equally, more or less 24% each. And of course, fruits and vegetables also. Though it is perishable, they've got now technology is for making it like a good packing, we can make it and then export abroad. So what is organic farming? The requirements. What is required for the organic farming? So organic or eco-friendly farming, yeah, more or less it is similar. Only thing is the organic, it should be more organic and it is a certified organic. And of course, we have been discussing with many colleagues, including, of course, Dr. Kafoor and many people in Gogna Arts College also. And of course, our vermicompost also, with a lot of colleagues I used to interact, and Dr. Kadireshwari and other colleagues. So now, eco-friendly plant protection methods need to be followed. It's not supposed to be only eco-friendly methodology, but also the organic methodology. As far as organic farming is concerned, it should be organic pest control methodology you have to follow, and animal husbandry is part and parcel, or important component in this. So ultimately, we need to maintain the soil fertility, soil productivity, soil biological activity. How? This is a conventional farming. You look at, and right side, what you see is the organic farming soil. The soil becomes dark, it's humus rich. So there is a humidification index. How students can understand. So CN ratio will be very narrow, and the humus, and you must be, if you are just looking at the soil science, basically there is a humic acid colloid and clay colloids also. So basically the humic acid, ultimately it is formed out of the organic manure. After deep decomposition, it is forming as an organic manure. After organic manure, it is going, and after the decomposing, it is getting as a organic or humus or humic acid and fulvic acid, basically. So this attracts or can hold all the ions, all the cation anions, all these things you must be knowing. And the fertilizers are nothing but the ions. This can be holded by the soil when the humic acid content is more or organic matter content is high. And I wanted to just with one success story. Organic Farmers Produce a company that's headed by a lady farmer. They are doing extremely well, and that was promoted by our institution, the Krishi Vigyan Kendra. They are doing extremely well, and what is possible, not possible, because many says organic farming there will be yield decline, but here we have to ensure that the yield need not be or should not be declined. We cannot allow it to decline. There will be a small decline initially when we are in the process of standardization, but ultimately our aim should be yield should not be much declined. So there can be a small decline, and then it has to actually get as a routine one, and it should be stable yield should be achieved. That is more important. And this is, for example, different interaction with the organic farming colleagues, farmers. I address them as colleagues. So they are also participating with us for standardizing many technology which can reach the other farmers also. This team of farmers are very proactive, and they are actually doing very well successfully the organic farming. So organic farming, the yield may not decline or will not decline. That's what they say. And this is very, very systematically. They themselves conduct training programs and various things. This is just a glimpse I wanted to say. This is some of their activities. And yesterday, it was a day. Why I was tempted to introduce them to use that. Yesterday, in the presence of the minister, from the minister, they received, from the forest minister of Tamil Nadu, they received the award, the best organic farming FPO. They have received the award. Congratulations to them. And this is for ultimately for whom actually? This organic farm produces for healthy nation, or for the people or the consumers' health. This is presented to you. So this is the team of the directors, board of directors, all farmers, they are doing organic cultivation very, very effectively. So with this success story, I just wanted to get into the organic farming. What is organic farming? All of you will be knowing. And here, my job is not to explain you about the organic farming, but then tell you what are the constraints, what will be the difficulties when you're undertaking the organic farming. And ultimately, our aim is to have the produce, and ultimately the farming should be a farm business. Means it should be profitable. You should make profits. By doing organic farming, many say that they are not able to make profits, and they are under loss, because the cost of cultivation is very, very huge. Otherwise, they say organic farming, I don't get the proper yield. And the very, very important thing is that Sri Lanka has gone into organic just about 1 year before. Sri Lanka, entire country, they have made it as organic. There has been a small failure now, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But one thing I'll tell you, Sikkim, when it was becoming an organic farming, I was there. I was with the Chief Minister of Sikkim, and we have been planning, and they could make it very, very successful as an organic farming state. Sikkim is declared as an organic state. It is very, very good. We are successful. India is successful. But then in Sri Lanka, what happens? So organic farming, they used to categorize the field A, B, C. C is low yielding. So now they wanted to make the entire country organic, but then entire country is producing very low. The yield has become less than 50%. It's because of the constraints which they cannot face it. They're not able to face it. But if anybody is in touch with them, please tell them that, look, we have the technology, we have the ability to manage these constraints. So I'm also talking to the people, the policymakers now, how to make it better. But of course, in between, there are some policies that are allowing the other chemical also. Okay, that's the story. What I'm saying is that they feel, any country now, they are getting into the organic agriculture, the constraint they are not able to manage. So that's the reason I thought the challenges in organic agriculture, that should be focused, and we should give management aspect for these challenges or the constraints. I don't want to call this as a constraint, this is actually a challenge. It is not drawbacks, which is but manageable. It's not drawbacks, which cannot be addressed. It is manageable. So there are a lot of farming methodology, natural farming, organic farming, biodynamic farming, chemical farming. There's nothing as such as a chemical farming I should say in every forum. So when you look at this organic agriculture, this is completely different than natural agriculture, which doesn't permit any input. This is Subhas Paleckar's farming, natural farming. But in organic farming, yes, organic farming, inclusive of the natural farming, biodynamic farming, entire thing can be clubbed as, it is in general called as organic farming, which allows the input, external input also, but that should be a certified one, not genetically modified organisms. So this is for the students. I just wanted to slightly differentiate or tell the difference between organic, natural, and biodynamic farming. Well, let us come to the organic farming, which permits us very, very lavishly, but under a controlled policy situations, what can be allowed, what cannot be permitted. Something is directly allowed, something is allowed on a restricted basis. If knowing is, or the understanding is that definitely anyone can easily understand what is organic farming. And whether it can be done, can be definitely manageable, any constraints or challenges. So, for example, these are all the cultivation methods or the steps. For example, soil conservation management. We need to conserve the soil, and the soil management. Soil fertility management is next comes. So we have to do the soil analysis, and fertility management need to be done. A nutrient supply system. This is nothing but the microbes available in the biologically active soil. And then the agronomical practices. That is something like planting, mulching, crop rotation, rehabilitation, agroclimatic factors like season variety. You have to do a particular variety for a problem where there is a risk of any pest or disease problem. This is what is most essential. So depending on the agroclimatic condition, what can be faced by what kind of crop or the variety or clone or whatever it is, like what crop or what kind of variety can manage this particular problem of Cicotoca leaf disease in banana or in a particular season. So avoid the season, go to the right season to manage this particular disease, something like that. You know, you'll have to plan according to the agroclimatic factors. You'll have to thoroughly study any agroclimatic condition. You have to study the soil and agroclimatic condition also. When the rainfall comes, when the humidity goes up, all these things one should be thorough when you are going into the organic farming. We have to be vigilant on all the cultural practices. It is not that the forum do not know about different cultivation practices. I wanted to remind you, gentlemen, and our young colleagues, the students, what is required is we have to remember all the cultivation practices, which should be kept in mind, and ultimate aim is to keep the organic matter status good, and soil should be biologically active. The crops should be very good, having resistance, good resistance for pests and diseases, and the produce should be quality wise. It is good. Quality means what? The customer expectation is that it should be free from the toxic elements and should be rich in the nutrient status. And then water conservation management measures. So water? It should be a clean, good water and right type of water to ensure the nutrient availability is good, because ultimately the water is going to get, the nutrients are going to get dissolved in water, and that goes to the plant system, and proactive transported the nutrients are getting into the plant system through the roots. You must be knowing. So now weed management is another important agronomic practices, and animal components. We can't avoid it when you want to think about the organic farming. We can't avoid this animal component. That's more essential. And what animal is feeding also should be an organic food. Organic grasses or organic your nutrients the animals should feed, and ultimately what is coming out as produce milk or anything of the animal or egg of the animal, or even the fecal matters or the animal waste that's going to be recycled. Everything should be monitored, and it should be free from any your tetracycline, like your antibiotics or even any kind of pesticide residues also. That's more important. But Dr. Ismail also talks about the vermicompost, and many of us are talking about the vermicompost, but you should ensure that vermicompost should not carry any toxic element. That means the animal, it should not consume any kind of chemicals. We are not afford to do that in organic farming. And coming to the other things, the planting material, it should be right seed materials, because people many ways, they are talking about traditional seeds, traditional variety, not necessarily to think only about the traditional seeds in organic farming. They think that they should only use the traditional seed. They can use hybrids also. But the problem with the hybrid, people feel is that it's not a problem. People feel that that's a problem, because seeds, hybrid seeds are high yielding variety, and it will not yield that much in organic farm. It will yield, but you have to put input. Input means what? Organic input. Means what? Organic inputs, the nutrients also should be from the organic sources. Many cannot differentiate the biofertilizers and nutrient sources, organic nutrient sources. So biofertilizers are different. It cannot be the source of organic nutrients. Organic nutrient source is definitely there. So you'll have to find that. So biofertilizers are nothing but the organism which is present in the soil, and it can be made as a formulation and then can be presented to the soil also in organic farming system. But then this can only make the nutrients available to the plant. That should be understood. So seeds, seedlings, saplings, all these things we have to be very, very thoroughly and carefully selecting this. And this is more important for any kind of agriculture practices. And planting, sowing, how we have to do the planting, there are a lot of methods of sowing: direct sowing, broadcasting, dribbling, transplanting, and pit making, and trench planting. So many planting methods are there. You have to organize in such a manner that it should be, plant should have a very good ground coverage. Because the weed is a major problem. In agronomic practices, when you look at weed management, is a major problem. So how to manage the weeds? The main clue is with the ground coverage. So the plant is covered well. Plant is covered well, then there cannot be much of weed infestation. So these are all the ways. You should not allow the problem to come in or set into the system. That's what I'm trying to emphasize on. You should not allow the problem to come in. Once you are allowing the problem to come into the organic system, there are it will be very, very difficult to find a technology to manage that. Your technology, something like doctor is giving a medicine or pills, but then you have to maintain your diet system and lifestyle also to ensure that the drug is doing well. So organic, you have input, but then other methods of your cultivation practices also should be cooperative for ensuring that the nutrient balance is achieved and pest and diseases are managed well. This is what I'm trying to say. And ultimately, intercultural operation, something like nipping, pinching, tipping, topping, priming, pruning, and all these things should be done very, very effectively and properly. Manuring, that's necessary. People think that organic farm manuring is not required. And of course, you've got a vessel application, top dressing, foliar nutrients, the entire thing should be followed as it is in the other conventional form. Only thing is the organic source is required to be practiced here. Organic source of nutrient needs to be selected and it should be applied here. Then use of plant growth regulator. That's a big problem, use of the plant growth regulator. Many say, mine is organic, please use. Without any other label or any other regulatory condition fulfilled, people sell a lot of product, and plant growth regulator, if the regulation is coming very, very strictly, our organic farming will definitely be successful. Because many farmers are misguided, many farmers are not understanding properly what is the growth regulator. Somebody says it's bio, then people will use it. So bio is not bio. You should look for a certified biological material for growth as growth regulator. Growth regulator is required. But then without putting or without applying the basic nutrients through manuring, what the growth regulators are going to do that? There cannot be any consistency. Even in conventional farming, the growth regulators are used. There cannot be consistent yield for your kind information. There cannot be consistent yield when you are using a growth regulator. In organic farming, yes, definitely. Without using the without using the source of nutrient properly. For example, nitrogen means you need to have neem cake. Phosphorus means you need to have either bone meal or this thing, phosphorus, rock phosphorus, like mined phosphorus source. Potassium means you have to have K-ash or any other seaweed. From the seaweed, potash is being produced, or sulfate of potash, organic. So organic potash needs to be used. Without that, what is the use in using the plant growth regulators? These growth regulators will be useful for getting the nutrients assimilated. Without nutrients, what the plant growth regulators are going to do that? So this is where the people are making mistake. Without the nutrients perfection in the nutrient management, you are using the growth regulator. Unnecessarily, you are inviting trouble of pests and diseases. Definitely, the pest and disease management will become definitely a problem. So the pest management, disease management, you should be through the nutrient management. So nutrient management is a clue. Through this, the pest and disease management can be done. And of course, harvesting properly, it should be done for harvest management and grading, coating, packing, branding, storage. I'm again telling you, the list is given to you just to think, what are you doing in this particular list? Are you doing properly? Are you following the entire list? Are you following memory? Are you doing it properly? Are you doing according to the timetable of the operation or according to the calendar of operation? You have to do that and ensure that it is done, and then marketing fresh commodity, and then market the produce as a primary and secondary value added products also. We can just have a glimpse on that. Then of course validation like FSSI, FSSAI it is, and AgMark and organic certification process completion. Then it will have a label of organic, and then the marketing and consumer preference, and study with the consumers what the consumer need, and all these things. Of course, if it is complied, then there will not be any problem. So what are the challenges? As I told you, major challenges: yield reduction. Up to 60% yield reduction is factors in many crops, and higher cost of production. Definitely, yield reduction is there. Yield is reduced, and cost of production will go high only. Definitely, that's a correlation. It is directly proportional to. It is directly proportional. Yield is inversely proportional to. Yield is reduced, cost will go high. Yield is reduced, cost will high. So when there are 150 coconuts, my tree is producing only 100 coconuts, and down below around 75 coconuts. Per coconut, my cost will go up, whether it is organic or inorganic farming or conventional farming. But in organic farming, since the yield is coming down because we are not nourishing it properly. So when the yield is coming down, definitely the cost of production will high, and the commodity prices also will go up. So what is more, for example, organic in international level, the organic commodity, the cost is going up to 500%. Minimum 500%. I'm telling you, my dear people, I'm telling you it's minimum 5 times or 10 times the cost it is being sold. And so the cost of production also feel they are justifying, okay, my cost of production is high, so I have to sell that much. So on the market, the constraint is, or the people, even consumers, for receiving this organic produce, there's a big constraint, because my produce, instead of selling 100 rupees or $100, I have to sell 500 rupees or $1,000. You just imagine the situation, how a consumer is afford to get the organic food, and how a seller. So everywhere there is a constraint since the cost is high. The cost, when it is going high, definitely will be a problem for every partners in the food chain. They'll have a problem. So you try to give at a marginally increased price the organic producers, then it will be clear. So the consumers also are benefited, everybody is benefited, and do well the organic farming, then your yield is not supposed to reduce this much, maybe 10 or 20% initially, and you can stabilize that. That is what I'm trying to insist in this forum. And nutrient management should be proper, and here it is a major challenge, nutrient management. If you do that nutrient management properly, yield reduction will not be there, pest and disease management will not be there, and definitely because of this pest and management, disease management issue is not there, yield reduction will not be there. Definitely physiology will work out well, and there will be very good crop. So the marketing, there will not be any issues, because the cost is also reasonably cost is high. And produce quality, that's very important. The produce quality, without proper nutrient makeup, the produce will not be good at all. And there will be a long-term health of the plant will be under issue. The health of the plant goes down, more particularly in the plantation crops, or many years growing plant, plantation crops mainly, perennial crops, we call it as. So the health will be a problem. Once the health is a problem, definitely there will be a problem for further sustainability of the yield also. Coming to the weed management, actually what is more required is any novel means of weed control is necessary. For example, acetic acid, now it is available. So it is nothing but molasses. So there are a lot of byproducts of the other agriculture industry that is now available for use in the organic farms. I'm working on that. So I'm working on that to say that what is the byproduct which is very, very cheap and less cost, which can be used in my organic farming system under a certified organic farming system. That's what is my interest, and anybody is interested to join me doing this also, most welcome. So that's to be a bioherbicide. About 25 years before, I have tested a herbicide which is from US. That is nothing but a clove oil based herbicide. That's excellent, extremely good, but the cost is very high. Somebody said that I am good in doing organic weed management. What is that organic weed management? not using the organic weedicide, but controlling the weeds organically. By doing cultural practices organically well, I'm controlling my weeds. So that is what is called as exactly organic weed control methodology. Short-term and long-term control, you can make it. As I told you, do a mulching and ensure the ground cover with the plants. And when these two are ensured, definitely your weed control will be there. There will not be any weeds. Kindly look at any field. The ground cover is there. You will not see the weed there. So otherwise, you allow the weeds which is not giving problem to the plants. So there is actually a root cation exchange capacity, and the cation exchange capacity, the roots and your primary plant should be understood to ensure that the weeds can be formatted in the field itself. So you can kill the weeds in situ itself, or you can just do something it is called as soil cultivation. So you have a green cover, no issues with a small weeds, or you can just have a cover after cutting. So the weeds also is afforded to be there when the cation exchange capacity is properly designed. We are not designing, but we will design the permitting the weeds or anything into the system based on the cation exchange capacity of the roots. So we can have the cover crops also. In rubber estates is very, very common. Or Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica is, of course, that is the Totachiningi. We call it in Tamil, Mimosa invisa. That's a plant which is actually a very good cover plant. Cover crop it is. So pest and disease management can be done with very good effective organic pesticide for sucking pests or anything, an effective biocontrol agent for the dieback. Dieback also it is necessary. It is actually a challenge, and dieback control can be managed. If the plant is healthy, dieback will not come. If it is there, you can spray Pseudomonas or any other thing. So coming to the nutrient side, N, K, P, K, all foliar and soil nutrition it is required, and there should be a nitrogen source. All are available. All these challenges are not knowing. People are not knowing the availability of this. India is very, very good in making these nutrients available, and it is very, very possible, and it can be definitely used. And of course, boric acid supplements, that is boron, is a real requirement. The boron gives or helps the potassium uptake also. For example, calotropis is very good. Rich in boron is available in calotropis. So people can use the extract of this, or it can be used in the compost. So the boron will be available. Boric acid, of course, boric acid cannot be used, but sodium tetraborate can be used. That is under a restricted material can be used in organic farming. That can be used. So actually, what is required is an activity integration. What we were talking is about different stages of the cultivation methodology. I was talking about the plot to plate concept. So plot to plate, you have to ensure the safe food chain. So in organic farming also it is possible. That's what I'm trying to say. And in organic farming also, you are not afforded to miss any of the technological integration. You cannot avoid nutrition management. You cannot avoid pest management. You can't just like that leave the pest into the system. So this is what I wanted to emphasize. This is very, very possible. So here, for example, what is more required is, of course, our Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Krishi Vigyan Kendra, is also working on that. And integrated farming, organic farming, we have done very, very successfully. Even visitors are outnumbering even 20,000 every year. They are visiting this organic integrated farm. But the farm can be integrated as integrated farming system. Definitely, organic is very, very possible. Organic cultivation is very, very possible. And of course, we do have an agribusiness school also. This is for you to just understand. So agriculture should be made as a business, and you can very well come and get experienced in this. The commodities. Ultimately, the commodities should be with enough nutrient content. Should be free from toxic element, yes. But many of us are achieving, many farmers are achieving in organic farming, they're achieving the farm produce without any pesticide residues. I can agree. But nutrition. So it is mentioned here, for example, curry leaves, the dietary fiber, iron should be 1 to 32. So India is facing a lot of anemic problem. And here in South India, more particularly, more than 65% anemic condition is noted. Why? Curry leaves is there. Your moringa leaves are there, drumstick leaves are there, and many even plantains. So it should all give enough ions. But in spite of this, why this problem is there? Because we are not permitting the soil available iron itself is getting into the plant system. So our curry leaves or moringa leaves, you just check up kindly. You will not see much of iron as it is required to be there in the commodity. Why? Because simple thing is the pH is high. It is not allowing the natural iron which is available in the leaves. That's a problem. So without when the pH is neutral, only iron uptake will be there. High pH iron uptake will not be there. So these sort of problems will be there. You see, look at the banana, phosphorus 36 is good. If the phosphorus is undernourished, what happens? The phosphorus will not be there this much, then it cannot be called as the advantage of eating banana will not be there. Vitamin A rich in carrot means carrot is rich in vitamin A. If you are eating carrot with vitamin A only at the optimum level only, you will get the advantage of eating carrot. No, likewise, egg means calcium or eggplant. Like your brinjal means you should have calcium. Your tomato should have calcium, something like that. Again, your chilies rich in calcium and lauric acid and antioxidants should be available good in coconut. It is not grown properly without proper nutrient management. Definitely, all these advantages parameters will not be there. That's what ultimately I'm trying to say. This is a big challenge. Whether the commodity is really having the toxic-free agri producers, are we producing? That's a big question mark. In organic farm, many things that if you are using cow dung, that's organic farm. When they don't want to spend on the field, they call it as mine is organic. I wanted to go organic because I don't want to spend. You please spend and get back. That's what is required because ultimately we are ditching the consumers. So all my farmers colleagues, I used to say that please, when I'm giving the organic producers, ensure that it should be with enough nutrients also. So this is, for example, branding for selling, for marketing is more important. The brand and the traceability is more important for the marketing. And of course, these are all the groups and different methodology we follow to ensure that the quality of the agri commodities are produced. This is, for example, the producers and consumers are meeting. And let us get into the subject now. Please don't feel that now only we are getting into the subject. As I told you, even the large commodities like tea, also the planting, pruning, plucking, leaf handling, everywhere there is a message. You should handle it properly. You should do it properly to ensure that the quality is also maintained at the same time. The quality, what I mean is not only toxic-free commodity, but also nutrient-rich commodity. And the perishability should be less, and you should be able to keep it in the cell for a better long time. And many aspects are there in the quality management and the quality chain, the value chain. It consists of various operations, as I told you. So these are all the specialty commodity to ensure, because the organic commodities, if it is made as a specialty commodity, for example, silver tip tea, white tea, it is actually, it can be sold for about a minimum 45,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees. The cost of production will be about only 100 rupees or 200 rupees. Just imagine a cup of white tea is 150 rupees, my dear participants. A cup of white tea is 150 rupees or 200 rupees. When it is organic, yes, it can be little more also. Even the conventional white tea is 150 rupees. And green tea, or rather your handmade tea, all can be, if it can be grown organically without keeping our nutrient or important parameters less, then it is good. You are achieving your goal. So promotion is required definitely, and this is with regard to the marketing side. So coming back again to the soil system and soil management, everywhere you should ensure that there is no toxic elements which are coming in. But there are a lot of issues in the soil fertility management. Lot of issues when you're thinking about the compost. Whether the compost is of a real quality. How many of us have knows? Your compost is carrying the heavy metals. I'll tell you. Our regulation says the heavy metals should not be there, but how many of us are thinking about the heavy metals, or how many of us are screening the compost is not bringing in the heavy metals into my system? And what is the raw material which is used in the compost? For soil material, soil fertility, any agro waste, yes. People will go to the market in Karamadi, they get all the waste vegetables, which is already intoxicated heavily with pesticide. I do it into the compost. So my farm is organic farming. I will bring in all the leaf or vegetable waste. What happens? Entire discarded chemical pesticides are all coming into my system, which is already certified. I want to maintain very, very clean. In operation theater, you just think in an operation theater which is supposed to be maintained sterile condition, you just bring in some of the unwanted for example, your COVID or any other virus, SARS virus or anything, you just bring into the system in a packet or in any kind of a food material or anything into the operation system without screening it. What happens? That is going to happen inside your composting yard. If you are bringing any raw material without screening or without knowing the proper source, I will tell you what can be the proper source and how, where it need to be maintained. We have to really think when you are preparing the land. Actually, we have to be very, very careful after preparing land, and you will be adding this organic matter. I'm sorry, this if anybody don't know Tamil, someone's slice I picked up. I couldn't change because of want of time. I couldn't change it to English. So this is for the farmers I prepared. When you are preparing the land, see, you should know the soil depth also. There should be enough soil depth. And you look at this topsoil is with good nutrient status. You see it is dark and with rich in humus. So surface soil should not be allowed to be eroded out. Soil erosion need to be prevented. So there should be a good ground cover. The ground cover, the falling velocity of the water can be reduced. The velocity will be reduced when it is reaching the topsoil. So erosion can be prevented. So everything is very important. As I told you, everything is important. Even the velocity of my rainwater, when I am just concerned about your organic farming, definitely will be successful. You should ensure that the topsoil is not eroded. So the soil depth and of course soil structure, it is more important. And those days, they used to, once in 3 years, they used to do clay application in the native soil hybridization. We call it a soil hybridization. How many of us are doing now? Soil hybridization, including the clay soil, including the tank sill, because in the tank sill, what happens? All the eroded top healthy soil with more of carbon and more of microbes, it is getting into the tank or it is getting into the river or any system. So that tank sill should be brought back and put on the into our farm. This is happening long time back. People were doing it, but we are not doing nowadays. I am not seeing anybody doing this. So this is called soil hybridization. Manmat in Tamil they call it as soil hybridization. We have to do it, but nobody is doing that. Instead of that, at least you have to at least ensure that the recycling of the farm waste need to be done. Where and all it is possible, you have to do the soil hybridization. So likewise, many operations are actually lost. We are lost. So we call it as traditional agriculture. Organic agriculture, yes, it is a traditional agriculture. Those days, organic agriculture was very, very successful. Nowadays, why it is not successful? Are we doing any of my organic farmer? Most of them are not doing it. Not able to do it, that's a different story. But an organic farming means there's many things in that. So everything should be systematically going on. This is, for example, one thing. So agro-ecosystem, what is agro-ecosystem and its management? Ecosystem should not be disturbed with our agriculture practices. That's why we call it as integrated soil and water conservation, integrated plant nutrient supply system, and talking about the biological activity of the soil, and integrated pests and disease management. So look at this, soil water conservation. This is all excellent. Mulching is done. Water is safe, clean, good water, and soil conservation. You see the contour, stone walls, everything to avoid the soil erosion. In a slope is deep, then you have to ensure that the slope in between the thing, there is a formula and technology. Anybody wants, you can always consult us. And in between the contour, in contour, in between the heaviest slopes, you have to have the stone walls built. So once the stone walls is there, then bunds, we call it as bunds, the contour bunds you have to establish, and it can be actually put with the grasses also for avoiding soil erosion, or if the stones are available close by, you can always use it. If you're doing that in organic farming, you'll be really successful. You will not be losing your topsoil. So first point you have to keep in your mind is that you are not afford to lose the topsoil. Soil erosion should be contained. That's more important. You can see the mulching also. This is with, of course, a polythene mulch, of course, mulching with naturally, the center picture, the downside, it is with a natural mulch. Soil testing is more important to understand what is the fertility status of my soil. Then, of course, we have been conducting a lot of health camps to ensure that people are using fertilizers properly. And coming to this, we have a laboratory also. Anybody, even the students can be very good entrepreneurs when they want to have a lab and do soil analysis and educate the people on what nutrients are not there. It can be done. For example, the pH and nutrient availability, there is a correlation. As I told you, pH should be neutral. So then only the better nutrient availability will be there. Then only the nutrients will be loaded on the leaves. Then only it will get to the system of your flowers and then the vegetables or fruits. Then only you will ensure that all this your edible fruits are very tasty because the potassium is good, and boron has permitted your potassium into the system to make your fruits sweet. So all these things should be borne in the mind. Without that, how you can call it as a commodity, good commodity? How you can ensure that this is sold well? People say organic, oh my God, it's not tasty. So organic, if you're doing organic, very good, it should be much tastier than your conventional food. So these constraints need to be managed, and temperature, more essential. When the soil temperature will be better regulated, if the organic matter content is more, whatever you do in your farming system, you have to ensure that the soil organic matter content is going high. So likewise, these are all the deficiencies, just to show you the pictures. So these deficiencies will be shown. You cannot ensure, even in organic farming, people will say that, no, this is organic farming, it will be like this one. It cannot be like this. Or even recommendations there. Even conventional farming, there is a recommendation. If you look at these kind of symptoms, you spray 1% of ferrous sulfate or 1% of zinc sulfate. Even in agriculture university recommendation, it is there. It's not required to be. You have to ensure that the micronutrients are in organic farm, you have to give it. or it is under restricted chemicals or the input list. So you can always ensure that this is put into the system, or this is applied after permission. So there is a possibility of having even sugar chelated micronutrients are available. You ensure that the nutrients are properly fed. For example, this is boron. How a commodity will be good if the boron deficiency is there? There will be potash, will not be sufficient. So this there are a lot of challenges actually. If you see, look at this, food splitting is there. Tomato in the market, if you look at organic bulk tomato, if you look at 90% or 80% tomato will be like this with boron and calcium deficiency. What are you seeing in the picture? So with this kind of deficiency, if it is going to the market, or what is marketable will be only 10 to 15%. The rest of the 10 to 15% of the commodity will be also priced 5 times or 10 times, as I told you. This is called as organic commodity. Otherwise, people will just pick up from the local market and say it is an organic and sell it for a more cost. Most of the people who are trying to sell organic product, even in Coimbatore, the branded organic people are also doing mistake. I'm telling you for a kind of information. Branded organic people also doing mistake, because when the commodity is not there, they're just picking up from the market elsewhere and then putting it in the same basin where the organic commodity is kept. So this even for the marketers, it is a challenge to give the organic commodity sufficiently and continuously to give the commodity to the consumers. There is a problem. So this concerns also, there is continuous supply of the organic producer to the market also is a challenge. But look at this, this kind of tomatoes cannot be or need not be there if you are doing properly the nutrient management. And this is of course iron deficiency and various other deficiencies. It can be very well seen. And this is in organic farming. There are a lot of possibilities to go for recycling of the natural resources, the crop rotation, biological management, animal husbandry component, and use of biofertilizers, manures, vermicompost, all can definitely ensure this thing. So these are all the green manure and green leaf manure also. It's all adding nitrogen to the soil. And all these things you'll be doing. And compost preparation, do properly the compost. As I told you, external inclusion of any elements should be screened for heavy metals or toxic elements. Your pesticide, you can screen it, no problem. Where from it's coming? Where from this crop residue? Crop residue from your farm is okay, but toxic residue from my market is what? Even fish oil they are making. They are saying that they're proudly saying that I'm making so much of fish oil. So where from the fishes are coming? For bringing the fishes to the market, what and what is being done? Who are the other stakeholders? Ruthlessly, they are handling very, very wrongly with a lot amount of chemicals. When the fish is coming to the market or when fish is out of market, the waste is being maintained with a lot amount of heavy toxic chemicals and with the heavy metals. Kindly understand. So even the organic farmers should be educated on how to get a source, how to source, where they are sourcing the fish. That is more important. So this is vermicompost. Of course, we have been talking more on this. Even the worms are capable of removing the heavy metals. Heavy metals can be assimilated by the worms, but it's again, the culturable worms are exotic worms. Of course, I used to proudly say many people, because the organizers from the Kongnadu College also can receive these compliments, and nowhere else in Coimbatore, at least I would proudly say the research work is going on as good as the Kongnadu Arts College. Because I've been also learning many basic aspects on the vermicomposting. Of course, commercial and scientific as well as the practical aspect, I'm very, very thorough, because the very first animal I handled about 40 years before or 45 years before when I started learning the subject, the very first animal I touched is earthworm. So I can understand thoroughly what it is, and I can now understand and appreciate what is the basic scientific work which is going on in Kongnadu Arts College. So also in beekeeping. So these are all the things need appreciation definitely, which is again a component and contribution for the organic farming. And the challenges can be definitely managed with the basic science colleges who are doing excellent work in the basic scientific research. So the vermicompost, with this complement, I'll further go to the standards of organic, standards of vermicompost. Again, I would suggest the Kongnadu Arts College and other universities and colleges which are doing basic research, ensure the students are learning this aspect. So the pH of the solution, what should be, and the CN ratio. What is CN ratio? That should be narrowed down, and avoid a CN ratio when it is not composted, something like that. So this is again, even city compost. It is called a city compost. Then there is a specification given. The heavy metals should not be there. Heavy metals should not be there. Pathogens should not be there. pH and EC, everything there is a standard. Get to the FCO website or get to the FCO book. You consult in Google. What is the standard required? What can be permitted by the FCO? You please ensure that that is used. So likewise, even when we compose, there is a specification. City compose, there is a specification. How many farmers of mine use using the organic manure, or after production, how many of them are checking up for these kind of parameters? I'm sure that some of the organic farm, I can show them that heavy metals are rich in their soil. Where they are buying the compost from municipal waste. Municipal waste. How many municipalities doing proper segregation, and then the segregated waste is actually composted? Very, very unfortunately, I'll tell you, even in a big yard here, I don't want to mention the name, but still the meat is recycled. Because the segregation is not at the source, but segregation is done at the well level. What happens is that the meat, which is not segregated at the source, which is segregated after every contamination of the municipal waste, it is carrying the heavy metals. That heavy metals are getting into the system of my pet animals. So what I'm trying to say is that at the source you segregate and subject that for the recycling, it is good. But if you are just getting to a bulk bulk yard where it is dumped, and then you are separating your meat, and then you are recycling and making it as an animal feed. It is definitely, I'm really worried about the pet animals. So you have to ensure these are all the areas where you have to be very, very careful. It is so true for your organic manures also. The standards which is given plant, animals, microorganisms. This is very, very important when you get to the system of your crop growing and nitrogen fixation. All these things you will have studied in basic sciences. I will tell you the undergraduation course where you're studying all these things. You must know the importance, what is going to be helpful, because your foundation is the undergraduation course. Or next is post-graduation. So you're going to focus on some important things. So in undergraduation, you be strong. That is going to be helpful even if you're a district collector or even if you're a minister. That subject is going to be helpful to you, or if you're an international consultant also. My basic subject, I'm an international consultant, and my basic science, what I've learned only is helping me still today to be very confident, to face anybody at the international level, to face any kind of competent or any kind of scientist at any level. I'm able to challenge because of the basic science which I could really learn well and practice the agriculture science. I'm a practicing scientist, so I'll be very, very confident in sharing that to you. I'm telling you, all the undergraduate students should learn the basic science properly. Don't think that it is a time pass for you, for your parents to be to be glad that you're doing undergraduation. Next, of course, I'll do PhD or MSc or then PhD, and then I'll get to net. All these things are fine, but do your undergraduation well for the sake of the community, for the sake of the nation. So all these things, you know it well, and you know these are all the biofertilizers and various things are there. Gluconazolobacter, phosphorus cycle. You learned the nutrient cycle. When I learned, I don't know where it is going to be helpful. I don't know really, but then I studied it seriously. Now it is helpful to me. Mycorrhiza, vesicular or vascular mycorrhiza. This can be a good project to you also. So all these things are very, very important. I'm just passing the pictures like an album, and there is actually there should be a proper your production technology to ensure that your microbes are doing well. So microbes are ultimately, basically, it is for the nature. You're just formulating in the lab or a big industry and then giving back to the natural system. Means what? It should have the same efficiency or same virulency. Efficiency, I refer to the biofertilizers. You should be very efficient in converting your phosphorus or nitrogen in a soluble form, making it available to the plant. It should be having very good efficacy, means what, or virulency means what. If a biocontrol agent, that should be very good in controlling the biocontrol. Naturally, if you are isolating any biocontrol agent, for example, trichoderma or Bacillomyces fumariaceus, you just have to extract it, do properly the manufacturing method. So if it is not formulated well, it's not going to definitely work as it is in the natural system. Natural system, it will work well. But then this is again a constraint need to be managed. The manufacturing technology, there are a lot of manufacturing. There are a lot of available biofertilizers and biopesticides available. But how many farmers are happy with this? They're not happy because it's not working. They're not happy because it's not working. Why it's not working? Though it's not properly formulated well. How to formulate well? Learn it. How to formulate well? There are very good method. And there are good technology. India can give a cheap and best biofertilizers and biopesticides. These are all the carriers, and definitely, again, I'm now coming to sowing and of course planting. A lot of things. We are still there. Don't think that we can complete definitely in time. So this is again irrigation. And weeding, as I told you, of course, I've been talking about weeding also because there are different stages. I was just talking about it. And of course, everything you need to systematically follow. Your spraying of your even plant protection, biological chemicals also should be very, very effective. And your even the droplet size and the walking speed, everything counts. Everything counts, even in organic farming. Yes, but of course, this is again, it's not. It will not give a knockdown effect. It will not give a knockdown effect. It can give a knockdown effect provided the plant also develops resistance or the variety is resistant. If the variety is resistant, our plant also developed resistance, induced plant resistance. So many things are there. Somebody wants to further learn about it, you can always come to me. I'm just giving you some basic tips only. Urap iron bottles. It means it is fertilizer requirement. So fertilizer is required. Organic source you need to find out. It's all. It doesn't mean that without urea, without nitrogen you can't do farming. Without urea you can do farming. Without phosphorus you can't do farming. Without your superphosphate you can do farming. So that's what I'm trying to say. The source of nutrients is more important. And Panchagavya, you must be knowing what is Panchagavya. And it is of course from the natural materials. You know, you want to have urine, cow dung, and cow ghee, milk. Even banana fruit, well ripened banana, puan fruit, and tender coconut, jaggery, cow curd. The curd should be from the cow, not from the buffalo, and clean water. You can make Panchagavya. If you open the lid of this Panchagavya, this thing, tank, you should have a very lovely smell. You can even drink Panchagavya. I know some of the scientists of mine, my scientific colleagues, used to drink Panchagavya. It is true, it can be, because it's got very good probiotics, very good microflora is available in that. So definitely it is possible. But when you open the lid, if it is smelling is different, we can understand the Panchagavya is not. So if you are doing all these things very properly, it will be very good fermented, very well fermented, it will be very good. So even preparation of the Panchagavya, because many are commercially doing it and many are selling for many rupees, it's all not good. So make a Panchagavya of your own, learn it and make it. Otherwise, take it from the good source where they are doing good. So this is what is the humble suggestion. Fish amino acid, yes. Organic, this is a very good organic growth promoter. As I told you, the fish should be from what source? That is one. You pick up the market wasted fish. I'm sorry about it, because I'm really willing to educate people on this. So the source of the fish, where from you are taking, that's more important. So this is about the insect and pest control. What is more important is definitely with bio input, it is possible. You look at this paddy, there are pests, of course, brown plant hopper and the stem borer appears to be very, very serious. But it cannot be there if proper nutrient management is there. If the proper nutrient management, if properly potassium is fed, there will be resistance for this. Induced plant resistance can be developed. If you apply Pseudomonas fluorescens, definitely there will be induced plant resistance. Ensure that your micronutrients are fed well through organic or whatever be the means. Even it is permitted, as I told you, it is under restricted input items, and you can always manage and permit it. You can use it. Ensure the potassium uptake is by that. The leaf potassium level, you just check it out. Once the leaf potassium level is adequate, you cannot get this kind of pest. It will not invade. Succulency is more, only the pest will come. Succulency can be balanced with your potassium, and molybdenum can counter the ill effect of your potassium. Molybdenum, if you get a permission and use molybdenum. That's why I want to say that. I want to say that you take MSDS and get a permission in organic farming, it is very, very possible. You can take a permission from when it is required. See, ultimately what is required is when it is coming to the plate, it should not have any toxic residues. Zinc as a tablet you are taking in, is it not organic? I'll tell you, elements means it is inorganic. It is not actually, there is no organic element. So there is no organic nitrogen. Nitrogen means it is inorganic only. Plants take it in inorganic form only. That's the clue I'll give you. But what is the science? Organic farming, I can't use inorganic fertilizer. But in organic fertilizer, it is there, nitrogen is there, it will be taken up by the plant as inorganic nitrogen only. But what is there along with this inorganic nitrogen? The compounds which are associated with that, the compound which is holding the nitrogen, everything matters to say whether this nitrogen can be used in organic cultivation or not. That's a question. So the nitrogen is essential, but the organic source is required to keep the environment clean, to keep the system clean, to ensure that the nitrogen as an element, it is inorganic. As an element, it is inorganic, but that is what is available in organic manure also, the nitrogen is inorganic. I'm only talking about the nitrogen, but not the manure or the source of input. I think you are able to differentiate now with this available time. If I stretch talking about it, it will be a problem for the time management. So I will ensure that you kindly learn about this when you want to be very sure about nutrient management. You kindly ensure that you are learning this or educating the people on that. Ensure the nutrients are flowing properly in the organic system also, to ensure that these kind of bad elements or the pests are not available, and ensure that natural element is also available, so that it can manage, it can regulate naturally itself. So what I'm trying to say is the paddy blast, it's a disease, serious disease. All these things can be managed. Leaf bacterial blight, all these things can be definitely managed. Heat blight, brown spot, insect pests, which can be managed with Beauveria baciana. Amazingly, it does the work. Many think that even after pest incidents, it cannot be. Tea mosquito, for example, with Beauveria, we are controlling very, very effectively. Even tea short-tailed borer, we are controlling very, very effectively. Even banana stem borer, we are very, very effectively controlling with Beauveria. Only thing to get the right strain. So here I wanted to emphasize on the institutional and industrial participation requirement. The institution and industry can work together to ensure that this isolated strain, the particular strain, is mass multiplied and giving back to the system. Banana, you take it from the banana system, ecosystem. Tea, you take it from the tea ecosystem. For example, I've been very, very successfully doing this institutional private-public partnership program to do this biological agents preparation and giving back to the system. And I've been paying heavily, up to 10 lakhs every year, to the institution which has developed that project also. So likewise, there is possibility to work with institution and industrial working arrangement will be really good to ensure that this can be. See, look at this. The very, very hard pest is also knocked down with this metarrhizium. So this is possible. This is again coconut weevil. This has been controlled. This is a biological control, or it is a natural, almost entomopathogen fungus. It is in organic form. You look at this, definitely it is possible. And neem, definitely, this thing. And of course, nipping, all these things I used to say, I was telling you earlier also, to ensure the bush architect is also coming out well. Look at this, there are different training system of a crop to have a very good ground coverage. So far, we are talking about pest management, disease management. Now, it is again a natural way you can control the weeds. You just allow the spread, allow the bush architect. Then you can ensure that this is we're having a very good ground coverage, and weed management is becoming easier. There are not many weeds, even if it is there, you can very well manage. So this is what the different pruning method. Everything is important. I'll tell you in organic farming, do it properly. Do it properly in the way it is educated to you. A lot of research has been done to ensure it's all done. Again, this is a resistant variety. For pests and disease, we were talking. So have a resistant variety. So this variety, for example, Arca Hubbard, from this is for example I'm telling, because I can't keep talking about it long. So I'm telling you for an example, this is from Institute of Horticulture Research. Arca Hubbard is with multiple disease resistant. Leaf call disease, bacterial wilt, early blight and late blight is this particular H397 is the code, and Arca Hubbard is the variety name, hybrid. This is permissible in organic farming also. If this disease prone area means you use this variety to ensure you are not spraying for leaf curl or bacterial visit or wilt or early blight, you don't have to spray because this is still having resistance. So you need to spend very, very less money or time for managing this kind of pest or diseases, more particularly leaf curl disease due to various factors like bacterial wilt. Leaf curl is due to your virus also bring in leaf curl, and bacterial wilt due to bacteria. Early blight is due to fungal disease. So all these things can be managed when there is resistance. So likewise, hybrid, Arca Tanvi. This is also, there is a sorry, I think it is not plugged in properly. You are able to hear my voice properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. You heard properly. Yes.
Okay. Hurry. Because now it is connected. I don't know whether the connection was dropped or something. Very good. Okay, Arca Tanvi, and this is again a very good tolerant variety for the powdery mildew. So you don't have to bother about receiving the problem like powdery mildew. Again, harvesting is more important. Then, of course, nursery rising technologies. You have to be very, very careful. Ensure that the problem is not transferred to the main field. Ensure the problem is not transferred to the main field. I'm repeating, because the problem goes from the nursery anywhere. So this is what, because many mechanization also, a lot of work has been done, and mechanization is very possible for reducing the cost, ensuring the crop growing well, crop good coverage is there,
And this is, for example, sorghum harvester. Everything is possible. This is, for example, one of the machine we found is coconut. Your fawns are made like a powder with the pulverizer to ensure that it is all made small pieces and the composting is done with that. So in a coconut tree, whatever the composite is required for the year, the tree itself can give it. Nothing but recycling of its own thing. You're not allowing the nutrient to go out of the system. So ensure that the nutrients are not allowed. We are not allowing that to go out of the system. It is again put back into the soil. This is more important for having an effective, efficient, as well as cost-effective your organic cultivation. It is possible with that. So coming to the processing side, a lot of challenges again. A lot of challenges in the processing side because it should be nutritionally fit. Nutritive value should be there. So everywhere, as I told you, this again I'm showing the picture because you should understand from the cultivation. You have to pick up the produce from the cultivable area because the quality is basically made in the field, is being processed in the factory or processing center. So whatever is the quality which is made in the field, that you need to preserve it in the factory. So likewise, we got a lot of intervention we have done. For each and everything what I'm talking, there is a data available with me. That's what there is. Actually, always you will see some tables, all these things. I have the data because that if we keep talking and keep seeing the data, it will be taking time. So if you want, you can just always consult me. I can share with you the data. So banana pseudostem, it can be used for various purposes like your recycling and banana fiber and banana, even the Valatandu, you call it as that pseudostem can be used for cooking as well as extracting your juice, and the Central Institute of Agriculture Engineering is working on it. And likewise, cookies can be made. Organic seaweed cookies are being made. Seaweeds are natural source of protein, and that can be processed and that can be incorporated into the cookies. And instead of maida, you can use millets. Millet grown organically, you bring it, and then seaweed again you process it organically. Ensure that this protein is incorporated in that, and then label it well. Do it in a clean hygienic condition. You have to have HACCP system like a 5-star hotel kitchen. Your HACCP system means in the factory you have to have this cleanliness and a clean system, or you are not permitting any kind of bacteria or fungus in it. So likewise, so there are a lot of data available with us on food production also. Agriculture input is more important. Agriculture food output, that is the produced food, is also more important. If you do value addition and market it properly, doubling the farmer's income, tripling the farmer income on one side is assured. On the other side, the consumers are getting the real good food, which is with very good nutritive value. This is done in our agribusiness code of Krishi Vigan Kendra, Coimbatore, under the system of Indian Council of Agriculture Research. For each and every commodity, there is a system and there is a standardized technology organically to cultivate and do that. That is what I've been presenting in this. And of course, due to want of time, I could not edit much, but still there are data available. Just at least you can understand, see, everything is benefit cost ratio, everything is worked out thoroughly, which is a good variety for what kind of processing. Everything has been thoroughly worked out and data is available with us. And for doing organically, it is very, very possible. Organic cultivation practices also has been tested, and that data is also presented in this. I'm not focusingly discussing with you about this, but then everything is available with us. And banana post harvest, all this post harvest technology also, you should not use any other chemical preservatives. You can use even salt is a preservative, so you can use these kind of items. Vinegar is a preservative. So vinegar, again, acetic acid, it is from molasses. So likewise, you can choose the organic preservatives and then use it for processing. And of course, we are very good in making banana powder, and banana powder can be incorporated in the baby food and biscuits. Low glycemic index value because tapioca, other this thing, cassava, the glycemic index, the other Dr. Teti was mentioning from Indonesia. Likewise, our banana is a wonderful replacement. Wonderful replacement with the nutritive value, which is very high fiber. So it is dipped in honey. It's a very good product. Honey is, again, if it is kept inside the organic farm, we ensure that is all foraging in the organic cultivated crops. And of course, technology of scaling we have done, of course, on the coconut. I can show you the product also. It is available in myself. And of course, the want of time, I'm not showing that and all that. So anywhere, you can always visit us and see the organic producers. Even in our integrated farms, where it is done organically, the producers are actually made, the value added, and it is available for sales for the consumers. It is possible to manage any kind of issues or systems. So again, honeybees can be, have had inside the farm itself. Along with, of course, I proudly want to announce that even along with the Komunad Arts College, we are planning to do a wonderful beekeeping project. And of course, we want to start with about 500 bee colonies in metropolitan area. So I am also having a big project and interested to collaborate. And already I am discussing with these people. So this is of course post-harvest, primary and secondary processing. It is again very, very possible. As I told you, everything can be handled. Everything can be handled organically. And organic producers like this kind of product diversification is very much possible if you are having. And we do have a primary processing unit and secondary processing also. And raw rice, boiled rice, flakes, pops and flakes, everything can be done. So all from this organic producers, if you are doing it very, very nicely and presenting it as per the requirement, and definitely it can give very good this thing. These are all, you see, the product development model with the JLGs and self-help group. We are able to produce organic biscuits and all these things. So this, all these things, if it is handled very, very nice, we should be able to definitely produce very good value-added product that can be definitely useful for the market. So value-added product, there is no much issues except the nutritive value should be ensured. Once the nutritive value is ensured, once the toxic-free elements is ensured and declared on the label as organic commodity, there will not be any problem. Only thing, the cost will be a problem. But ensure that you are not pricing it 5 times or 10 times like the normal produce. But you can ensure, or you can be rest assured that it can be only marginally increased. At least go up to 200%, no problem. Don't go beyond on pricing. So it is possible because the cultivation, you spend less. Processing, you spend less. You be vigilant in learning every aspects of your technologies. Then you integrate properly. Ultimately, you'll be able to end up with the production cost which is less. So your cost of commodity is going to be very less. Not very less, it will be at least reasonably good. So you'll be able to definitely sell it to the consumer. Consumers will be afford to buy this. So instead of normal produce, if the organic commodities are sold for about 150% or about 20 to 30% more or even 50% more, every consumers will jump into that. Many are not getting into that because it's priced 5 times or 10 times. So definitely it is possible to convince the consumers with what you have in your hands. So the promotion activities are required. Definitely we are very good in promoting ourselves. I can sell myself good, and my dear young students also can sell themselves very good in the market, I'm very sure. So with this appreciation and congratulation, I want to say that agri supply chain in India, there are a lot of barriers going to the consolidated commission agent, trader, wholesaler, retailer, then consumers. Have a direct system. In developed countries, what's happening? Farmer to wholesaler, retailer, and consumers. You will be able to reduce the cost heavily, and you should be able to give the organic produce directly reach the consumers, or with not many channels. You just try to cut down many channels and reach the consumers with your promotional capacity. That's why the farmers producer organizations are now evolved, and the group wise, the group dynamic approaches, the farmer producer organization can make the organic producers, and without much of chain links, they can reach the consumer with a very good quality producer. This is the supply chain we have been working on with, and it is possible. We know very well to tackle the supply chain. We know the producers and consumers, they are able to meet. See, it is all starting from the field. That's what I wanted to end up with, saying that it's all starting from the field. Quality starts from the field. That's all. We are working at the field level to ensure what is going into the system of the food chain. What is getting into the system of food chain, ensure that your commodity or output is coming out very well. So with this touch, I wanted to congratulate all of you for having an excellent program in these 2-3 days, and my best wishes to the young children and young colleagues, and congratulations to the organizers. It is a wonderful program, and I should appreciate and thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of this program. Thank you so much. And if I'm really useful, if you all feel free to contact me anytime. You can visit my office also, or invite me to your station, so that I'll be helpful to your students, and your basic research team can definitely do well, and this will be definitely useful to the industrial level. Thank you very much. And international stakeholders can understand India is very good and best in giving the technology, not only in conventional farming, but also to the organic farming and organic producers. We can give the best organic producers with a very, very competitive price, with a good nutritive value, as well as toxic free organic branded organic food we can give it. And all the agri inputs also we can export to the other countries. Agri commodities also we can export to the other countries. Agri technologies also we can export to the other countries. We are number one in exporting our services. We are very happy to announce you that we will be able to sell our services also abroad. So the international participants definitely can receive many informations and inputs from India to ensure that they are doing organic cultivation very, very well, successfully managing all these challenges. With this, I'll conclude. Thank you. Over to the organizers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed a highly informative session.
Thank you.
Okay, dear students, so please post your questions. And Kumaravadivelu sir is ready to take your questions right now.
The first question of mine is that was it audible and was it clear to you all? Because I was
Yes.
worried because in between I saw my connection was somewhere disconnected and all. You were able to receive my information very good? All right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It was audible throughout.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
This is Anbarasi, Assistant
Well-
Professor in Department of Biotechnology, sir.
Yes, Dr. Anbarasi. Yes.
Good to meet you, sir. Sir, thank you for sharing a wonderful presentation, sir. It is very informative and inspiring talk, sir. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes, Doctor.
Sir, we started our research on the pomegranate blight disease, sir. Blight and wilt disease. So
Yes,
usually our Tamil Nadu is one of the major cultivar plant is pomegranate, right, sir?
Okay.
So as the plant is affected by the blight and wilt diseases. So in my knowledge, there is no the permanent solution for the permanent recovery of the disease, sir. So nowadays the farmers are using the chemicals and kind of antibiotics to treat the diseases. But
Okay.
is there any resources or formulations are available for overcome this disease by organic formulations, sir?
Dr. Anbarasi, I can tell you very, very confidently one thing. Both your blight and your wilt can be
Yes, sir.
managed. Can be managed. One thing is that the variety, we will understand what it is. And where is the area it is grown up, you can just tell me. And also with the photographs of this particular field and also the specimen which is photographed. Because the symptom can tell us what is exactly, whether it is a bacterial or fungal. Because there can be anthraconosis, or you must be able to differentiate between anthraconosis as well as your bacterial spots, so anthraconosis is a fungal disease, and bacterial spot also may be possible. So you can ensure that it is bacterial or fungal. So once it is, sometimes it will be clumping together also, because the similar agroclimatic condition, when it is with more of mist, or with more humidity, it will invite these kind of problems together. Sometimes it will be very difficult for us to understand also. And of course, since you being a biotechnologist, you can just do it through sequencing. If you are doing the 16S gene sequencing, you'll be able to understand whether it's a fungus or bacteria. You can understand the anthracnose also. You can really understand. If it is that level, it is not definitely required. You just send me the photograph also. With the symptom, we can understand even before going for 16S identification. So, but one thing I'll tell you, one solution is that you try to have excellent strain of Pseudomonas fluorescens. If you want, I can just link you with some people. They can give you Pseudomonas fluorescens, very good, efficient, virulent strain. If you're getting just with the Pseudomonas fluorescens, you'll be able to manage your leaf spot or your blight. Also, you can very well manage. So the spot, I think pomegranate will often receive these scars on the fruit. That can be very well managed by spraying Pseudomonas, doctor. If you are very clear whether it is anthracnose or bacterial spite, because you were telling about the antibiotic also, because antibiotic is required when there is a bacterial issues. That's what I thought. The spectroscyclamine or your bactrimycin can be used if it is bacterial disease. Or if you are really not able to screen out whether it's bacteria or fungus, you use Pseudomonas fluorescens, which can manage both. Bacteria and fungus can be managed very well with your Pseudomonas. Fluorescence more particularly.
Okay.
But people are scaring with Pseudomonas, saying Pseudomonas. Even recently, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University also sometimes they say Pseudomonas because the strain, all these things. But Pseudomonas fluorescens is extremely good. You can use it along with Bacillus subtili. In organic farming, it is very, very good. And another important thing is that keep the plant nutritionally fit. Keep the plant healthy and nutritionally fit. Like COVID, we have to be healthy to ensure that COVID is not affecting us much. So that is more required. Once you are able to keep the plant healthy and manage this, definitely, that is nitrogen and phosphorus. Sorry, nitrogen and potassium. It should be balanced. Balanced nitrogen and potassium is there. Definitely, this problem will not be there. And if it is there, then again, if the nitrogen is more, if you feel, you can spray just molybdenum. very, very ppm level of molybdenum can manage this definitely. And more than anything in organic system, Pseudomonas fluorescens can definitely act well for you. Yes, doctor. You can send me the photograph. I can diagnose and give you the information.
Okay, sir. Thanks, sir. Sir, one of my research scholar doing a research on this topic, sir. So
Yes.
we need suggestions. So
Most
we want
welcome.
to meet you.
Most welcome, doctor. Most welcome, and you are welcome to discuss with me. Many are coming. In fact, I've been actually giving support to even thousands of students. I've been helping on their MSc projects, MSc, MPhil, PhD, and many from agriculture college and this kind of colleges also. I've been doing for a long time, more than 25 years. Every year, I interact with the young colleagues who are undertaking projects. You are most welcome, doctor. You can send your students.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Okay, so students, so do you have any more questions? I believe the students will type the questions along with the feedback so that we can get the questions to you, sir, in a later stage.
Yeah, definitely.
And
You can send by WhatsApp also to me.
yes, sir.
Any questions are there, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, sure. That'll be quite helpful, sir. Yes.
Thanks.
So now I invite Dr. G. Anbarasi, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Kongnado Arts and Science College, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all present here. I deem it's my great honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. First and foremost, I thank our guest speaker of this day, Professor Teti, for her ready acceptance and grace this occasion with your valuable and thought-provoking speech on tuber-based Indonesian traditional food. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your research experience on traditional tubular-based food processing and practice. Thank you so much, ma'am. I must mention my deep sense of gratitude to our second session speaker, Dr. P. Kumaravadivelu, sir, for his wonderful talk on challenges in organic agriculture commodities. Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring with us your wonderful research contribution on research farming for sustainable agriculture development. Thank you so much, sir. In
Thank
this
you.
opportunity, I am grateful to thank our respectable Secretary and Director, Ma'am, Dr. C.A. Vasuki, and our beloved Principal, Dr. M. Lakshmanaswamy, sir, for your constant support and encouragement in all our endeavors. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. I am very much pleased to thank our beloved HODs, Dr. S.R. Madan Shankar, Head of the Biotech Department, and Dr. Tenmuri, ma'am, Head of the Botany Department, for your able guidance and support in all of your efforts. Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. I express my thankfulness to the organizing secretaries and organizing members and all the teams for organizing this wonderful session. Thank you all once again. I also wish to thank all the participants for your active participants also. Once again, thank you all. See you all in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful talk. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, dear participants, kindly fill the feedback form before you quit. And thank you all once again for a wonderful evening. We'll meet again tomorrow, same time, for day 3 sessions. Thank you.